Hello, how's everybody doing? Don't know why I'm talking like this. Hello. How is everybody doing? How's things? Yeah, it's just started raining on my window outside. Nice. Hello. Hello to Ish, hello to Just Jets, and hello to John, if you guys are still here. I mean, there are currently 5 people watching according to YouTube, so hello. How you guys doing? How's things? Hello John. How's things? Hello Chris. How you doing? How has your week been? How's the MG and the Volvo? Hello Joe. How are you doing? Missed the last couple streams due to work. No worries. I won't hold it against you. How's things? How you been? How's the white t-shirt? You got me. Still haven't washed it. Haven't put on a wash. What? I haven't put on a white load yet. Hello Zig. How you doing? How's things? In a crippling financial situation as always. Good. Just how a Volvo and an MG should be. Saying that, my Volvo was pretty decent, so. Yeah. How am I? Good question. Probably not great, but could be better. I'm still recovering, seems better. Good. Good. Been out on the bike again? It's been too cold. It snowed today here in the UK, which was quite a surprise. Actually, some of it stuck, which is also a surprise. Not too bad, thank you. Birthday tomorrow, so off for a meal. My treat today, so I'll be peeing it out. Lol. Nice. Happy birthday for tomorrow. And how's the shed? How's that coming? The only snow I had covered half my windscreen. Huh. No, I went and cleaned. I went and brushed my solar panels because I can, and why not? And it went from 10 watts of power to like 70 watts of power. Until the snow covered them again, that was back to 10 watts. None on the ground. There wasn't that much on the ground here, like on grassy areas, there was a little bit. On the solar panels, there was a good like inch of snow, but everywhere else, it generally melted. The roads have been slushy rather than snowy. Thank you, the shed is done, got the insulation finally for the ceiling, which I'll be putting in next week. Then I can move on to painting and cladding the inside. Done, relaunch coming soon too. Nice, awesome, good progress then. Down south it's just been rain for me, rather heavy. Fair, I'm a little bit further north. Not quite as north as my accent might suggest, though my accent doesn't really suggest that north anymore either. Not sure where my accent places me. This week I discovered that I own a cellar. Well, my dad dug out the unexpected steps first. Interesting. That's quite a discovery. Is it big? Is it like just, you know, a sort of like storm shelter type cellar, or is it like proper the entire floor plan of your house is dug out underneath? Taking the mick out of the shirt while still not having done my wash as well. Nice. Gotta love hypocrites. Only because I'm one too. The rain and snow has made it difficult for the last week or two, though. I can imagine. Yeah, I can imagine. Snow, no, it just rains unexpectedly here, but from Sunday it looks alright to ride. Nice. Be safe. Joe says, Zay, if you find any bones, please, for the love of all humanity, leave them be. We've had enough trauma in the last 3 years. True. This week I got a flu and also fibre. But the flu takes the shine off the fibre. I can imagine, yeah. Best of luck in your recovery, and also, woo, fibre! Not missed anything yet? No, I've kept up. That's rare. What was I gonna say? What have I been doing? I don't know. Good question, me. Are you enjoying this insanity? Feel free to subscribe if you're not already. About half the footprint's house was built in 1895, so doubtful it's a nuclear shelter. Yeah, probably not in that case. Yeah. Volvo hasn't tried to end itself again, but my MG did end itself again. Starter decided to light itself on fire for a little bit because I didn't ground it properly. Ah, nice. GG. And it just had a new starter, didn't it? Second Andy's Woo Fiber. We got ours this week to 1.6 gigabit speeds. Damn, nice. You got faster fiber than me. Not that I care, because 900 down is still download anything basically instantly. I had some updates to do on the Steam Deck because I haven't used it in a little while. Charged it up and let it do all the updates. And it downloaded like 50 gigs worth of updates in, even with like limited Wi-Fi speeds, like 5 minutes. Was brand new. I started the car once. It's getting replaced under warranty. I just didn't tell them how bad I screwed it up. Fair. How much do I pay for the fiber? I pay 63. Or is it 63.99? 63.64. The nice thing is, so I use Zen, the ISP that our good friend Spencer, who occasionally pops into streams, hasn't done in a little while, but works for. And the nice thing about Zen is that the price that you start your contract with is the price that you pay full stop. So if there's no, oh, we're raising the rates this month, or oh, your 12-month, 18-month contract has expired, therefore we're going to charge you 50 to 100% more than you were paying when under contract, because we can. So while it is a fair bit, and it would be nice if it was less, it's also pretty decent. And it's not going to go up, so yeah. Ours is Virgin. We got it for £31 for 18 months, 1610 380. Nice. Well, that's not bad. It's a very good price. I just downloaded the entire Lord of the Rings set to see how quick it was. Started it, went to go get a drink, came back and it was done. Nice. And Thomas, would you be interested in doing a video on how the RTX 4000 and RX 7900 GPUs have matured over time? It's certainly something that I like seeing, and wouldn't mind. I do have an 4090 in there, which is going to go in something else soon. But I don't have any AMD cards, and I don't have any old data. I suppose you can basically just test it with different driver versions, but yeah. If I had access to the GPUs, potentially. Although I feel like it's a little, especially with the 7900 series, it's probably a little too soon. There's probably only been 1 or 2 driver updates since they actually came out. So I would normally think like 6 or 12 months is probably the better mark. I guess the NVIDIA cards are probably about that now. But Yeah. Ba 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 ba. Did I miss anything? I don't think so. What did I say? I can't remember. It's great, isn't it? Oh right, yes. You won't see it this week. It'll probably be next Friday now. But I shot a video with a famous British rapper on YouTube last week, which was quite good fun. And you will see a video of that. I'm waiting for him to give me some stuff and for ASUS to approve it, but I think it'll be good. I think I'll like it. Something a little different. Rap Team GB. God, no. I'll do the music, maybe. Yeah. I'm still on a GTX 1060. I want to upgrade it, but it still works. Starting to see it struggling, but I'll hold on a little more. Nice. I mean, there's no. Obviously, it depends on your use case and things, but since I am, yes, fortunate in my position of being relatively surplus in hardware. Unfortunately, not hardware I can give away, but that I can sequester around the house from time to time. For older cards, I could see that being, if you're itching to upgrade, you can still very much use that 1060 in, say, a living room PC if you want to be able to play some games in your living room as well. Assuming you're not already have it there, don't mean to suppose, but yeah. I bought a 1060 last week and a PC that I need to sell. Where? You still doing the PC flipping business? Hello Agent B, 2 GB up and down, but the data cap is 35 megabytes. You'll run into that real fast. How you doing? How's things? And Antonis, thanks for responding. Cheers from Cyprus. No worries. I remember the internet came on CDs, free trials from AOL. I'm not quite that old, unfortunately. But I am old enough to have had ADSL and then VDSL and then fiber to the cabinet and then now fiber to the property with the box that you can't see that's just down there. Yeah. I never had dial-up. I'm too young for that. I had a 1060 that I've been using since launch, but finally caved and bought a 6800 XT last month after seeing the price of the 7000, 4000 series GPUs. Nice. Pretty healthy card. Do you use Linux or Windows? No, I didn't, Joe. Windows 10, right, got you. Sorry. Yes, I too use Windows 10 and have no intention of swapping to 11 anytime soon. Going alright, healthiest I've been in at least 18 months, so I'm finally getting out and hiking again. Awesome, that's great news. It's been a while, I'm trying to get back into it, but I have less time because my commute is 1 hour 20, not a 6-minute walk. Ah, yes. That's quite the commute. Are you doing iced tea stuff now? Or are you still at the butcher's and you're just commuting because you moved? Nice. Anticipate mid-range 4000 series card. Depends on the price when it launches. Good point. Yeah, that's fair. What has Andy been up to this week? You keeping well? No. But what you call it? What have I been doing? I did an SSD review. It's honestly a bit of a boring SSD because it's just fine, not that fast. What's the video I did today? Steam Deck, right? Yeah. Steam Deck optimizations. There's a few bits of software that are free and open source that are absolutely fantastic and can give you way better well, say way better, can give you better performance in games for no cost, no risk, but some reward. I've got a bit of a mod project with a 4090 and an ITX motherboard coming up. The ITX motherboard will be here tomorrow, and then I'll do the mod project next week. I have designed an entire new response time board. Well, technically it's a latency board. I'm swapping. So I went through quite the motions with the latency board, because from selling the, I've only got unbuilt units, the open source response time tool. This is the Pro, the new version with the new chip. What I have sort of come to understand is that latency is a much bigger and more talked about topic, especially because latency is something that, depending on what you're measuring, it's something that you can tune for, whereas and it can be more generic. So I shipped an OSRTC Pro to France at the start of this week to a surgery technology company who I believe are using it to test latency between their systems and inputs, whatever. Unfortunately, the way that the Pro works, that won't really work, but they can certainly try. But basically, I want to do a latency specific board, and in theory, it would be nice if I didn't have to use a drop-in microcontroller. I don't know that I have one out. I can't see one of my box of parts. But so in these boards, a microcontroller fits into those slots. It clips on top, and that's what gives you your USB port and your data connection. It would be really nice if I can design, put the microcontroller itself on my board, and make it a more cohesive unit, as it were. But I don't quite have the knowledge. I can look at the data sheet and work out how to wire it up, whatever. If I can find one that's in stock, I can have someone assemble, solder all the parts to the board for me, so I can do that bit. But then you got to think about flashing a bootloader to the microcontroller, and then be able to flash all the firmware. And I could probably just use or hack Adafruit's one for the same chip, but we're starting to get into, that's a lot of things for me to learn, and roadblocks to overcome to make this thing. So I've decided to step back my ambitions a little bit, and I'm going to use this microcontroller. So this is the same family as the chip that I'm currently using. It's technically a slightly lower power chip, but first of all, USB-C, come on. And second of all, these pads here are not only through-hole, so you can put pins in it and then stick it in the board like that one, but you can also surface mount it because the contacts reach to the side. So this can literally get soldered to the board, which cuts cost, because holy shit, these connect, these rows, these what do you call them, sockets, are £1.50 each, and there's 2 of them. It's £3 just for some plastic and metal. So yeah, helps cut the cost for it, which is going to be good. So I need to learn how to use this microcontroller, which is slightly different. It's pretty similar, but it's slightly different. and I'm going to write a similar but slightly different bit of software to do the latency testing, because this will have audio, button, and switched inputs. So it will, what do you call it? Come on, brain. Need slightly different stuff, and it's already quite a, not bloated app, but close to it. So yeah. No, Joe, unfortunately it is USB 2 over USB-C. That's just how the microcontrollers are wired up. There is the microcontroller can't really generate more than USB 2 worth of data anyway. So it's USB 2 is fine. Yeah. Now you know why manufacturers cheap out on parts. Oh no, I'm well aware. It's just USB 2 speeds are faster. No, it's USB 2. Yeah, but it is USB-C, which is nice. Can't see that. Whatever. So yeah, that's where I'm going with it at the moment. I might change my mind, but I've designed the PCB for it, and I'm starting to design the case. But I'm probably, so the thing with the audio input is that, so this board does have an analog to digital converter on board. That's what's going to be reading in the data from the light sensor. It does have the ability to what's called multiplex, so split up that one analog to digital converter and have it up to like 6 or 12 channels technically. But there is a chip that, who is it? On Semiconductor manufacturer that is a tiny little BGA ball grid array 6-pin chip that is like microscopic, but it not only has a microphone preamp built in, but it also has its own audio analog to digital converter, and it just sends the data digitally to this, which I think makes that less complicated for me. So I kind of want that chip, but I don't think that I'm going to be able to solder that chip myself. But to get someone else to do it, it's like £5 per board minimum if I buy 100 boards. So yeah, it's kind of expensive. So yeah. So with a new microcontroller, how much will the sockets end up being compared to the 3-pin setup? Well, so the thing with this microcontroller is that you can see all of that copper that goes all the way to the edge of the board. That means that I put some solder paste on my PCB, plop this on top, put some hot air here and here, and then it solders itself down, and I do not need pins through this or sockets on the board. Which is the whole benefit of having this style of board on top of how small it is. Also, this is like £4.80 for one of them, instead of about £15 for the boards that I use in the standard OSRTT and Pro. So yeah, better. But yeah, it's gonna be a fair bit of work. So I've bought one of these microcontrollers so that I can start setting things up. I have a breadboard circuit with a photodiode and the op amp that I use, so I can try different resistor like gain settings, and I can wire up to that, and then I can sort of go from there. Yeah, not sure. We'll see. Massive improvement then. Is it all stuff you pick up and fine tune as you go along? Eventually, you'll end up with a system that costs much lower for the same output, trial and error. Yes. Well, so it is very much trial and error. You know, educated trial and error. It's not just I'm throwing money at things and hoping that it works, but it is still somewhat trial and error. I'm not 100% sure that this will be the best thing for it. But because it's the same family as the microcontroller I'm already quite used to, and I've read the datasheet of that far too many times, that means that I have a good understanding of how this works compared to an entirely different microcontroller family where I'm going to have to learn how all that works too. So basically I can adapt a lot of the code that I've already written to work with this. The desktop software, I can, copy the processing functions, for example. And all that sort of stuff, so that also helps. And yeah, there's definitely a lot of learning to be done for sure. I might not end up needing an external data capture for the audio. I'm kind of debating on it anyway, but I might not need it. I might not need anything other than just a couple of capacitors and whatever to handle the microphone input, but yeah, I'm not sure. We will have to see. What's your view on PSVR 2 and VR gaming in general? I don't think it ever took off in the way people expected it to. So I really like VR to a degree. I have a Valve Index. In fact, I can prove it by showing you the controller that I really like. If I hold it the right way so you can see it. These are the Index controllers. They are full grip, so when you put your hand through, it detects every single finger, including pinkies and thumbs. They're fantastic. I really like them. And in games like Boneworks and I guess Bone Labs, or Bone Lab, games like that, it's incredibly immersive. It's fantastic. I love Beat Saber. It's a great fitness activity for me. It's a great way to incentivize myself to do activity even while indoors. So it's really fun, but I don't think that it is the next, interface technology for gaming, right? Because first of all, there are a large swath of the population who cannot wear VR headsets and have any motion that is not directly connected to their motion in real life. So in a game like Pavlov, or a lot of the first-person shooter games, for example, which I know is not necessarily everyone's cup of tea anyway, but just for example, any level of motion in game that you are not actively doing, so you're not just walking around somewhere, like you're walking with a controller, or you shift degrees with your right, so you shift angles. People get very, very motion sick with that very quickly, which is not something that you can just overcome. That's, how their brains are wired, essentially. So that already discounts a pretty large amount of the population. Maybe you can get used to it, whatever, but that's one problem. The second problem is the space. I am fortunate in that this room is already my office and testing space and whatnot, and so I have enough room for standing only, mind you, VR. So for games where I can, I just have to swing my arms around or walk around the joystick, that's fine. For any games that require you to be able to walk, like the drawing and art game, or I suppose games, tools where you can do like VR draw, whatever, and you walk around the whole thing. I couldn't do that here. I would need an entirely empty room to do that. So that constraint's one. The other constraint is cost and the system that normally requires it. So I know for example, the Quest 2, whatever, those are headset only. You don't need to tether them, but for the sorts of games that end up being, you know, games that aren't Beat Saber, anything sort of intensive, that's not something you're going to play, you know, on the headset itself. And so it needs to be tethered, and then you need to have a powerful system to play with it. On top of the headset cost itself. For something like PSVR 2, I've not tried the PSVR 1 or 2, so I cannot comment directly. It does look like a pretty decent improvement. The fact that they're OLED displays is really nice. I like that. Obviously, it being PlayStation means that it is a more restrictive, what you call it, experience. There's less games that you can, you know, go play. You can't just play any VR title. It has to be a PlayStation VR 2 title, I think. And also the whole inside-out tracking. So that's where the camera, the headset has cameras on it, and the cameras are what track your controllers. And obviously the controllers do have gyros and accelerometers built into them, but a lot of the tracking comes from visual field. So if there's a game where you have to reach behind you for, you know, an arrow and a quiver or something, the second it goes behind you, the tracking goes off because there's no camera behind you. Whereas with the Index, and you can just see the wire going up in the pole that I mounted, there are base stations here, which is a cumbersome process. It's not something that most people, I think, would want to do, but it does give you better tracking all around, no matter what you're doing. So I kind of like that too. So yeah, it's cool. I don't think it's the future of everything, but it is quite fun if you can do it. And England have tiny houses. Needing a room probably stops a lot of folks. Yes, I would agree. Thanks for insights. I've never experienced any kind of VR. I will definitely give it a try. It is really good fun. There are a load of I don't know about, you know, where you are, whatever, but at least from what I've seen, there are a load of VR cafes, or like VR, not stores, it's the experience type things where they're mostly in shopping centers here, where you can go, you can book whatever, and then you can have either a group or a solo like VR session where they have the VR headsets. You just go in, you pay some money, and then you put the VR headset on, you play whatever games you want, you know, and then you sort off again. So if you have, if there are those somewhere near you, that might be quite a nice thing to try. Joe, are you currently making any return on the units yet? I know that's not your primary concern right now. Yes, the Pro definitely helped, because with the standard unit, I didn't really feel right charging much more than sort of cost and a little bit for labor, because I knew that it wasn't a not necessarily perfect design, but it had a lot of limitations, as did the software. As I developed it more, and especially since I wholly designed the Pro from scratch, and then tested and validated everything, and like hand building the Pros, and especially with the damn chips, I do feel like it is a much more don't know how to describe it, proper you know, device, something that is worth money, basically. And so I am actually what do you call it? Brain's gone blank. More polished device, thank you. Let's say recouping some of my investment. That would be nice to try, not just the space. For me, it's quite prohibitive and no such VR rental place. That's fair. And I'd never heard of a VR cafe. Sounds like a great idea, like a Laser Quest place with specialized equipment all set up for the group to play in. Yes, there. In the few cities that I've been to in recent years, most have had at least one, at least in the UK. So anyway, will your solar power serve you well in the coming apocalypse? You know, considering the Brits are serving squirrels in restaurants and all that. Fuck's sake. I hope so. It's certainly not enough to power everything, but I think in an apocalypse, well, in an apocalypse scenario, honestly, the best solution is just not be in an apocalypse scenario. But secondly, in an apocalypse scenario, this goes away anyway, so it's fine. It can power my fridge for sure. I can do some washing over in it. How do I get the water for the? I can't do any washing, but I can power my fridge. I don't know how I'd get more food into the fridge, but washing yourself. Fuck off. Where was I at? You would not believe how much I regurgitated after my first helicopter flight. And that wasn't even virtual, just brutal. And the instructor laughing. Oh, I'm sorry. But at least you can fly helicopters now. That's pretty sweet. I'm in South Africa. I actually found a VR cafe close by at a shopping centre, so we'll give it a shot. Nice. That's cool. Enjoy. Feel free to report back and tell us how it was. When the apocalypse happens, Andy's just walking away to the not apocalypse. Yes, if that's how you want to describe it. You might need power for a desalinator for the water. If I lived by a sea, yes. But I don't. No, I don't know where my best bet for, like, I know where a few lakes are. There's a river somewhere nearby. I could probably go collect from there. There's a canal actually. So I could use it to clean the water, but yeah. Where's that? I think people miss water more than they miss power. Yes. Very much. You mean latency testing is not a useful skill in the apocalypse scenario? Yeah, funny that. I think you get your eye in for latency on, say, the trigger of a gun. Got a small stream going through our land. Our land? Are you a, like, mid-century lord? But nice. That's cool. Just make sure your neighbors aren't poisoning your water supply to catch you out and steal your land. Anyone snowed in yet? I'm not snowed in by any stretch, but there was some snow. And ironically, it did collect on my solar panels very well. It was about an inch or so of snow on the panels. Seven acres? No, I think I have 7 feet of room here, mate. 7 acres? Not much, I know, right? Shame. What was I gonna say? Oh, right, yeah, my mod project. I'm considering trying to fit a 4090 in a 90s PC case. Not sure how that's gonna work, but I'm gonna try. My bedroom is 28 feet long and has 2 sinks. Yeah, no, he's a, like, mid-century lord for sure. The Dremel may be your friend. Yes, yeah. Or an angle grinder, actually. Weirdly, I feel safer with an angle grinder than I do with a Dremel. Yeah. I'm also, well, I was planning on putting a Ryzen 7900X in it, but I couldn't get a ITX or MATX 7th gen Ryzen motherboard. The only ITX motherboard I could get from any of the recent generation is a B760 from MSI. So, yeah, I'm using Intel. And I only have 2 Intel chips, the i5 or the i9. I'm going to try putting the i9 in, because of course I am. Hello, Mr. Pitt. How you doing? Your bedroom has as many sinks as my whole house has. Yeah, actually, same. MSI sampling you, Andy. Yes. So they changed PR agency. So at the time of the incident, MSI Laptops was internal, but MSI Components was an external PR agency that I have worked with for pretty much since I started doing YouTube. When the incident happened, they hired that same agency that was doing their components and monitors and stuff to also do laptops. I haven't had anything from them for a while, and then they've recently moved the components at least back to internal, but a UK guy, as it were. So I've been speaking to him. What case is it you're using? It's a, like, I guess late 90s, early 2000s. I can't remember what brand it would have been, but a pretty standard, somewhat beige. It's blue and beige. DC case. House is 17th century. Yeah. Lord. Any cut the side off and use a car airflow grill. Not sure what that was meant to say, but no. Andy cut the side off. Yeah, it's the whole point is it's a bit of a sleeper or a sleeper. It's a subtle. You can't tell that it's what it is until you start using it, or you turn it on actually. Yeah. Airflow will be an issue then. I will do my best to surreptitiously acquire some airflow from it. Which will probably mean modifications to the chassis, like the metal chassis, without affecting the plastic outer parts. I might like cut small, somewhat hidden vents in the plastics, like at the front, on the side edges or something, maybe. We'll see. But, yeah. Apparently there's a VR studio in the capital, about 20 euros per hour to try. That sounds about right. Yeah, not bad. Yeah, you can mesh them. I can, but I want to hide it, so it will be, you know, small speed holes in the like side edge, so you shouldn't notice it basically. Seeing as there's so much space here, do you want me to set up your offsite backup in the barn? You have a barn! Oh, jeez. An hour in VR would mash my head. Ironically, an hour in VR does my joints in. I can happily play VR with the index for you know, however long I want, but I can't stand up. I can stand up occasionally, but I can't stand still is probably the better sense for too long. And even if you're, you know, jogging your legs about and things, it's still not really enough. I can walk, but I can't stand still. Ends up hurting quite a lot, so yeah. It literally has one switched off chest freezer in it. What were you storing? Or I suppose what was the previous owner storing in their switched off chest freezer? And the VR studio in the capital is 600 kilometers away. Ah, yes, that's less than ideal. Classic beige cases offer the best. Fantastic airflow. They sure do. In case one needs to store a whole butchered pig, cow, or sheep. Quite right. Yes. It's the meat storage for the apocalypse in the barn. You need to ask. Silly me. The potential of an empty barn would be insanely tempting. What, to turn it into a bigger shed? Nuts for bird feeders. How egalitarian. Or an enemy arrival. Yeah, you wouldn't want them contaminating your indoor chest freezer. Speaking of butchering, I know a guy. He's me. Nice. But yes, my mod project. If I can make, if I can work out some way to water cool the internals, I'll use the i9. But if I can't water cool the internals, which honestly is probably quite likely, I will use the i5. Oh, we'll see. Here it goes. But I'm not hopeful on that front. Feed for the pheasants, not the peasants. Well done. That's excellent. Excellent. Oh dear. I think you'll be surprised what they can get in there. They can be quite cavernous, but often strange dimensions. I'll keep that in mind. The world of tech has is kind of in an interesting place at the moment, because while there are still some launches that are happening, the sort of global financial position has meant that a lot of people are no longer able to dedicate the sorts of funds that are often required for this remarkably expensive hobby. And that's, I think, what was it? What do you call it? It was a report that said like PC sales are down like 30%, which is quite a lot. And what's kind of interesting is that, so I've been an Amazon affiliate for like not quite 10 years, but maybe 8. And when I first joined, they invited us to come to their office to have like a little meeting to sort of get our feedback on the sort of affiliates program. And then basically since that point, they have been progressively more aggressive in cutting down what they'll pay out for, how much they'll pay out, you know, what counts as a valid purchase, all that sort of stuff. Up until about a month ago, when I got an email saying, we would like to offer you a one-time bonus if you can ship, was it $12,000 worth of stuff in a month. We will pay you like $500 as a one-time bonus if you meet that target. If you ship $12,000 worth of stuff in through your American affiliate links, we'll pay you like $500 or whatever, which is about double. Well, they would pay me about $500 commission on that stuff, on the shipped item revenue. So they're basically doubling how much I would be earning for that month. And then I got an email from Amazon Sweden, their affiliate program, offering not quite the same, but like a setup phone call, and like we want to help you make use of our platform the best, and you know, how can we help? Like an actual support rep for the first time in like 10 years. I think something's going on. This feels like a canary in the stock market coal mine. The tech world is in a state of limbo at the moment. More people are building systems from older components. That's also true, yeah. Cost cutting. Sound like shenanigans to trick end of year figures. To some degree, yes. The offer is valid until like July or something. I can't remember if that was a one-time, like, if I ship $12,000 worth of stuff, you know, this month, for example, I get it, and then that's it. Or if I will then get the bonus every month up until the end of the thing. I don't know, but I think it is to try and incentivize people, like affiliates, to push more people their way. Which is kind of interesting. Hello, Howton. How you doing, man? How's things? Timely as always. How you doing? How's things? Ryzen, oh yeah, Andy, a friend of mine was asking me earlier if it was worth upgrading to Windows 11 yet. I pointed him towards the Discord, but in case he watches the VOD, what would you say to him? No. There's basically no benefit essentially to like there's no killer feature. Like with Windows 10, they said, oh well, we're not gonna let DirectX 12 work on Windows 7, so you have to upgrade. So we begrudgingly did, but with 11 there's no sort of killer feature you have to upgrade for. I'm pretty sure direct storage is still going to work on 10 if I remember rightly, and even then that's not that big a deal, and that's not even really here yet, so it's fine, and it's basically still just a crapshoot. In fact, the newest beta version of Windows only just got an audio mixer back. They removed it in Windows 11. And they've only just brought it back in a more cumbersome, less useful design. Windows 12 soon. But Windows 10 was meant to be the last operating system, wasn't it? I have 11 on my media PC. We'll be staying on 10 on my main PC after that experience. Yeah. Anything in the pipeline for the wheel? I need to fix my wife's Mini. We tried the other day, but we were defeated. So I will be doing that this weekend and hopefully filming it. So that I did ask Hyundai for an Ioniq 5 to review, but they didn't get back to me. So not currently. I am. I think over the sort of winter months, basically, it tends to car stuff tends to slow down. So I can expect less happening now, and then as we get more into the spring and summer months, there'll be this SMMT day that I'll go to in May or June. And hopefully from that I'll get some cars actually in, which would be nice. And because I've gone down to two tech videos a week, it's a lot easier for me to slot that into my sort of schedule, as it were. Because like on a good week I can make 3 videos, and so if I do that 2 weeks in a row, then I've got a full week ready, and then I can do car videos, and I'm sure that I can do some car stuff on this channel, the tech in a car versus the driving experience and the handling and whatnot. So yeah. Mini BMW fun. Yeah, well, it's not really fun, it's just I need to. Should do a DIY respray. No! God, no. I've done, I've painted a few bits of cars before. It's always come out not great. So no. I don't have the patience to spray a car, which is kind of the problem. Or really the equipment. I don't even have a garage to spray in. I've got Alex's respray video to watch after this, £300 respray. Brackets referring to the disaster from Auto Alex's last video. I also have it in my watch list, so I shall see how that goes. I'm sure it's terrible, but yeah. I know a guy with a barn. I think we all do at this point. I heard prep before spray is the worst part. Yes, well, you gotta sand the ever-loving shit out of it, which is a problem, and then you have to get the surface painstakingly clean, and then you do primer coats, and then you sand that back, and then you clean it again, and then you do more primer coats, and then repeat the game, and then do the color coats, and then color coats, and then clear coats. Yeah. Doing a bike was enough work. Yeah. For me, it's the wait time between coats and when inevitably stuff falls on the wet paint, and then you like try and pick something out or whatever, and then that just goes bad. I know you should let it dry and then sand it and whatever, but every time that I've painted a car, I've not had the time necessary, because I don't have a garage that I can just leave, the car in to dry, or the part to dry in. One of the parts that I painted, I put plastic sheets like across my entire kitchen, and then sanded and spray painted a bonnet, or a hood in America, and a front bumper in my kitchen. Surprisingly, that one actually turned out alright. And then the other one I did a bit of repair on was I built a little frame and whatnot, but yeah. There's a good reason paint jobs cost good money. Yes. Yeah. It's a pain. Shame, I'd like to see Andy get the same reaction as I did after a few weeks with the Ioniq 5. Well, so I have driven the Ioniq 5 and it's great fun. It is a remarkably fun and enjoyable car. It's just not something I can apparently get my hands on right now. In the kitchen, I'm surprised that you're not single after that. It was her mother's car. I once painted the plastic off a Yamaha Neo scooter on the fire escape ladders of the apartment building. Nice. Nice. I guess that explains that. Yeah. Even in a workshop, you have to scream at anyone else going in or out. Yeah. My best paint job ever, though. Always is. Anyway, does anyone have any last minute tech questions before we go? Spray a PC case instead. Oh, I've done that and sucked at that too. It's fine, the fumes get you high and you think you're doing a better job than you are. Also true. Oh, come on, stop focusing on the ghost in the corner. Hello? No? Over here? Back we go? No? Hello? Yes, over here? This star? Yes. It's still not focused. It's gone back. Come back. I was surprised at how quickly it became just the car. Yeah. I imagine when you still boot it on the you know, the old right foot, it's probably still gonna make you smell a bit. But the fun thing is that mine, my S4 still makes me smile whenever I drive it even remotely fast. You know, driving a country lane, I'm smiling. Drive it onto the motorway, I'm smiling. It's a lot of fun. Why is the Ethernet from my router to my Switch 100, not a gigabit? Check the cable. The cable is what mostly determines the link speed. If it's broken, frayed, not all the conductors are connected properly, all this sort of stuff, that is what normally, at least in my experience, what ends up causing that connection speed difference. But yeah, I think leave it there. Thank you very much for watching. Oh, is the Steam Deck fan noise loud? No, not at all. Depends what settings you're running, whatnot. You do notice that it exists, but it's certainly not a loud and annoying noise. But yeah, I'll leave it there. Thank you very much for watching. These are every Thursday night at 8 PM UK time, so if you want to pop back next week, feel free. Have a good week, stay safe, and I will catch you all tomorrow for a video, Monday for a video, and next week for a stream. Bye, guys.